We have several methods available to us to control invasive species. One of the methods that we have available is foliar spraying. Foliar spray provides us the opportunity to spray the foliage of invasive plants. This allows us to treat large areas relatively economically and efficiently with herbicide, and also to do spot applications of individual invasive species that may be found in groups of native plants. Several invasive species are relatively easily controlled and effectively controlled with foliar sprays. Asian bush honeysuckle is an excellent example of that. Asian bush honeysuckle can be relatively effectively controlled with applications of glyphosate as a foliar spray during the growing season. Some species are not quite so easy to control with foliar applications. Invasive species with waxy leaves or thick cuticles on the leaves like Callery pear or winter creeper may be difficult to control with foliar applications of herbicide. In some cases, we can add surfactants or penetrants like oils to our herbicide mix to provide more efficacy in the applications and penetrate the herbicide into the leaf surface. When applying herbicides, it's important first off to read the label for the product that you're using. The label represents the law in terms of applying herbicides. Your options for equipment to use when foliar application of herbicides is done is quite broad. Everything from a hand bottle sprayer or squirt bottle to a large tractor pulled sprayer are options depending on the characteristics of your site and the materials you wish to control. In many cases for forest and wildlife applications, we're using either a handheld squirt bottle or a backpack sprayer. As these can be carried by a person into the woods, we don't need trails or road access to utilize this equipment. In situations where we have many different plants to control or large areas to cover, a UTV or ATV carried sprayer with a larger water tank and perhaps a reel hose that can be pulled out into the forest provides a good option for efficient control in large areas. In areas that are more open, perhaps a tractor pulled or even a skidder carried spray rig would be an option for covering large areas with many invasive species in place, requiring a lot of water to put that spray over large areas. The consideration for any type of control is to look at the area to be controlled, the size of the plants, and your capacity with the equipment you have, and adapt that to the applications you need to do. Hand and backpack sprayers can be used for foliar applications of herbicide and provide the advantage of portability and low cost to purchase. Many of these units can be costed at $20 to less than $100 between high quality hand sprayers and backpack sprayers. UTV and ATV sprayers have the advantage of having slightly larger tanks for more capacity of water, and so if you're working in remote areas, these can be very efficient and effective with not having to refill your tank constantly. They also offer the option for powered pumps that may provide more volume or pressure of spray to be able to reach out and spray material that's further away or spray larger areas. Tractor and or skid steer carried sprayers have the advantages of providing very large tank capacity, but may be limited to some extent in terms of accessing some areas of forest area. They also obviously are quite expensive in terms of initial capital expenses. When we're planning our invasive species control techniques, oftentimes we'll combine two or more different types of techniques. We've been talking about foliar applications of herbicide, but in fact we can combine mechanical techniques to cut and or mulch up invasive species, allow them to resprout from the root base, and then spray that foliage. This has the opportunity of allowing us to eliminate large standing plants that would be very difficult to spray with a foliar application, getting them cut down to size, allowing them to resprout, and then spraying the resprout foliage to control the plant. Although foliar spraying can be used anytime throughout the growing season, the best time to spray is generally during late summer and fall. Invasive plants are oftentimes still leafed out in the fall when most of our natives have dropped their leaves. Spraying in this fashion reduces the chances of harming plants that you want to keep. Once leaves start to deteriorate, foliar spraying is not very effective. The techniques we use for foliar applications help us in terms of the efficacy of our treatments. And so when doing foliar applications on woody plants, it's very important that we get full coverage of all the foliage on the plant to get good control. This involves making sure we cover all of the leaf area and that it all is sprayed with our foliar application to the point of wetness, but not complete runoff on the ground. This provides us an opportunity to get enough herbicide into the system of the plant and across the plant to give good potential control. However, we need to be cautious about what's called overspray. This is where when we're spraying our invasive species, we actually accidentally get the herbicide onto native plants. And in many cases, these herbicides will also damage the native plants. So being cautious with our applications and targeting our applications will help us avoid that problem in the landscape. Foliar applications provide us an effective and efficient technique of controlling invasive species. If we take care to do proper applications, read the labels, understand the materials that we're using and what kind of plants they're effective on, and take caution to not have overspray killing desirable native plants, we can do practices that provide us an opportunity to improve the growth, the composition, and the quality of our forest areas and improve the environment of Indiana. If you're looking for additional information on woodland stewardship issues, be sure to check out the other videos in this series. Thanks for joining us for this video.